a lot of my career as a detective in the Fugitive Enforcement Division. In Fugitive Enforcement, where I worked in the Warrant Squad, I had to hunt people down by computer, by going to their homes and knocking on their doors and knocking on friends and families' doors, go into places of employment. But to get to these places, I had to do a lot of computer checks. And I know all about all of the different things that she spoke about with Melanie. And I know a lot more about things that we utilize to kind of skip trace and track down these fugitives from justice. So I spent a whole decade hunting evil, hunting bad guys and girls down and finding them through the internet, through our searches, LexisNexis, and all the different things that are available to investigators. Jennifer Nobles is here. Always good to see you. Jennifer, you asked a question before. The backyard was tore up. It was dug up. It was, they did a number on the backyard. But when we saw the aerial footage, all of the dirt was put back. But they definitely moved a lot of things around, and they definitely did some heavy work on it. Where else would he have time to wrap bodies like that? Not in that home. He could have done it in the home. And Ed Wallace and I talked about this, right? It is very easy to back up that pickup truck, the 2002. 2003 or whatever year it was, the Chevy Avalanche. It's so very easy to back that thing up into that garage and load the bodies inside that garage and then just pull right out in the driveway. And I did the ride from Heuermann's home to Gilgo Beach. And coincidentally, tomorrow in the morning, I am going to take my gimbal and all of my movie equipment, my wireless mic, and I'm going to go out to Gilgo Beach, and I'm going to walk that 4-mile stretch where these the Gilgo 4's remains were found, where potentially Rex Heuermann, he's alleged to have committed these crimes, pulled his vehicle possibly on the side of the road, because I don't believe the boat theory. I've looked at the boat theory, and it doesn't seem probable. And I'm going to show you the thicket in the daytime so you could see how thick that brush is. Oblivious Benson is here. She was on with Melanie Little last night. The woman who started the GoFundMe, Melissa, is an amazing advocate. I'm in contact with her. I sent her an email. We've been emailing back and forth for the families of victims of serial killers, and she has a lot of great interviews explaining how one cannot know and still live with serial killer. Happy-faced, smiley, happy-faced killer. She was 16, I believe, at the time, and her and a mom and everyone who lived in that home had no knowledge of it. And I am going to have her on my show, and I'm going to interview with her, and I want to hear about what she went through. Linda comes in with the hashtag, "Why are the families being cruelly treated?" Listen, look at Shanann Watts. Look at the Rzucek family. If you haven't followed the Chris Watts family annihilation, Chris Watts on August 13th of 2018 murdered Shanann, their unborn son, Nico, Bella, and Cece. He wiped out 4 lives. Those people, the Rzucek family, are being tortured and crucified to this day by people online. This is no new news. This is what happens on the internet, folks. If we aren't seeing it, we need to open our eyes up and see it. But the Rzucek family is being tortured by people in the United Kingdom, by people in the United States, that are just coming at them with bullshit. 5 years later, this Sunday is the 5-year mark that Shanann, Bella, Cece, Nico were brutally murdered at the hands of their own flesh and blood, their father. And these monsters are still attacking this victim's family. So there's the answer to your question. There's sick people out there. And that's the truth. Why doesn't Suffolk County purchase the home off of her and pay for a hotel until they move them, pay for the damages and clean up cheaper than a lawsuit? They won't do that because legally, CG, they had right to be in there and do whatever they needed to do to collect their evidence. See, what you guys are not realizing here is that in pursuant to the search warrant, they are legally allowed to go in there and tear that place up. They're not, I never would take stuff out of people's drawers and dressers and remove clothing, I would put it on the bed. I wouldn't try to throw it on the floor, but I'd put it on a bed or put it somewhere. I would never put it back because we always were on like a time where we had to get out of there. We got our evidence, we leave, we secure up the door and we leave. The only thing that's required by law is that they secure the front and back door. And you heard Asa Ellerup say, I can't go outside to my backyard because I don't have the key to open the door, because the police put a new lock on there and key. So we don't technically do that. And we're not required by law to do it. There's people that just don't like that, and I understand it. But look at what we're looking at here. This is a suspected serial killer who killed 3, arguably 4 people, right? Alleged to have killed 3 or 4 people and possibly more. So they're looking to get as much evidence as they can out of that home, and they're not looking to play Molly Maid. And that's basically the answer. Like, I'm not trying to sugarcoat this. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's how it goes. And that's how you ask anybody in this chat, if they were around someone's home that was subject to a no-knock search warrant. If you're subject to a no-knock search warrant, they boom in the door, we break in the door, and we go through everything. Everybody inside the home gets handcuffed and put down on the ground, and we secure them. We get them out of there or leave them inside a different room, and we search the whole area. That's how it goes. So New York City Urbanista is checking in. She says, I agree. I felt for Asa all day after hearing that she's going through the treatment. Hey, listen, cancer is no joke for anybody. I've had skin cancer removed here. I got a scar here. I got 20 stitches in the back of my head. I have 5 pieces of my body removed from skin cancer, and I still fight it every day. I look and I check. But she had breast cancer that she's fighting, and that's no joke. My wife had a scare this year with lumps and spots on her breast, and it was scary as So I don't wish this on my worst enemy. I have empathy. I have a lot of empathy, and I feel horrible for Asa Ellerup and her 2 children, especially her son who's autistic. I feel horrible for them. But again, this is what happens when, unbeknownst or known to you, there is someone who is in your family that has committed or is alleged to have committed a heinous crime. So, be that as it may, I appreciate everybody being here and giving your side of how you feel. And I encourage you to leave comments down below in the comments section. In addition to giving the video a thumbs up, make sure you share it out onto your social media platform. And there's my good friend, Retired Sergeant A.H. In New York City, search warrants are swift. DutyRon is the expert in this and is always calm and professional. I worked with her in fugitive enforcement. She was a police officer, then became a sergeant. Thank you for being a friend throughout a long period of time while I was in fugitive. I appreciate you. Asa is, again, as I see it right now, with all of the evidence that's out, which is there is none. an innocent victim at this time until I hear of concrete evidence from police. We have to assume she hasn't been questioned. She hasn't been brought in. Her kids haven't been brought in. Right now, she is a victim of this circumstance.